Hi, I'm Charlie Asher. My wife Barb and I and our little foundation made the resources uptoparents.org for divorcing and divorced parents and proudtoparent.org for parents who are never married. And the reason that we did this is that we have so many kids. It's more, in fact, the rule than the exception that kids at some time in their childhood are going to be living between the homes of their separate parents. That has become so common that America cannot afford to do this any other way than excellently. We need to do this in a really, really excellent way. We have so many millions of kids affected by this. In a moment, I want you to watch a video. It's called The 9 Myths of Divorce. And we think that if you can notice that these are dangerous thoughts that you want to stay away from, you'll do a lot better. And right after that, you can watch a video called 8 Hidden Keys. These are things that you can do immediately, whatever your co-parent is doing, and they're free, that will make your life better and your children's lives better. I want to note, by the way, that in cases of domestic violence, please get some counseling. Please get some counseling. Some of the ideas that work for people without domestic violence, of good cooperation, a lot of communication, may not fit in your case. So do get some counseling with a qualified therapist as soon as you can. Finish the work on the website if you haven't done so. And by all means, put your kids first. Remember that when you do what's best for your kids, you really can't help but do what's best for yourself. The parents who build peace for the sake of their kids, those are the parents who get to save money, they get to put their energy into building a better future, and they get to live in that security that they're making their own decisions, they're not caught in a legal battle, they're not caught in conflict with their co-parent. Here then, now, a little bit about the 9 myths of separation and divorce. You're going to want to stay away from these myths, so please listen. Hi, we're Charlie and Barb Asher, and we're here to talk about something we think is really important in the difficult business of separation and divorce, and that is to clear the ground of the 9 myths that can entrap you. On the website, uptoparents.org, there's a Parents Corner that has a longer version of what we'll be talking about here, but we're going to give you a quick 5-minute version of these so that you can begin with a clearer understanding of what your challenge really is.
Beginning is myth 1, that divorce is a competition. Sometimes some parents think that that one of the parents has to win, one of the parents has to lose, or maybe that one has to be the better parent, that the children will choose who's going to be the better parent between the two. And the reality is what, Charlie?
The reality is parents win together or they lose together. If they give their kids a good place to live their one and only childhood, both parents are going to win. If they destroy the kid's childhood by this war, competition, conflict between them, they're both going to lose. But they're going to get the same grade. And it's not just parents' feelings. It can be the language of the law. It can be friends. It can be the conflict that we love in our society that pushes us this wrong way.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be the better parent, because children need both of you to be the best parent of all. It's not a competition.
Okay, myth 2, we have legal problems. Almost none of the issues that separated and divorced parents face happen to be legal issues. Whether the kids are going to be picked up at 6 o'clock or at 7 o'clock, not a legal issue. Where the kids are going to go to school, not a legal issue. All these things that are in court, there are almost no legal issues.
They're emotional issues.
They're emotional issues and parenting issues.
Yes.
So if you misunderstand the nature of the issue, you're almost always going to come to the wrong conclusion and a lot of conflict.
Myth 3, we have a custody dispute. You know, Charlie, almost nobody has a custody dispute.
Yeah, you know, almost everybody that we see in mediation, that we talk to in classes who says, I have a custody dispute, it's almost never true. Please understand, custody refers to 2 things. Legal custody means who's going to be making the major decisions in the kids' lives, what medical care they get, where they go to school, things of that sort. We would hope that parents would work to the point that they can make those decisions together, or what most jurisdictions call joint legal custody. So they make the decisions the same way they would make them if they were still married. The other thing that the law calls custody is physical custody. That's simply the schedule that the children are on to give them regular, ongoing, continuing contact with both parents, quality contact that we hope both parents will support. But almost nobody really has a custody dispute.
Just because you have challenges with scheduling issues or parenting time doesn't mean that you have a custody dispute.
Exactly. You have scheduling issues whether you're together or you're apart. But those are things for parents to work out, not to turn into a legal issue. Myth 4, the judge will solve the problem. This is a big one, and people simply must learn. Look at the couples that you've seen gone to court. How many of them left court feeling better about each other, working better together, or with their families in better shape for the experience of having been there? Almost none of them. The judge can decide one issue, but in the process you will have done so much damage to your relationship that the thousands of issues that will be coming up will be even a greater challenge to you.
Remember, these are parenting issues, so just because you have parenting issues doesn't mean that you need to appeal to a higher authority. As parents, you can decide these issues between yourselves. Myth 5, this is complicated. actually divorce presents huge emotional challenges for many families and many parents. But the actual divorce itself doesn't have to be complicated.
No, the more that parents can use maybe just two sites to guide them, two guides. One is, let's do what's best for the kids rather than stay embroiled in our fight with each other. And two, let's build a better future rather than litigate or argue over who was responsible for the past. The better off they're going to be. So it's an emotionally taxing thing, but the simpler you can keep it, stay away from legal complexities, stay away from all the other complexities, the better off you're going to be.
And by focusing on your children's needs, oftentimes those emotional issues will then resolve.
Myth 6, to protect my children, I must fight. We can be very brief about this one because by this time everyone should know the fight is what's killing the children. To say that you're fighting, carrying out a fight, and that's going to save the children, it's a huge mistake. Please never try to justify a fight on the grounds that it's helping the kids.
Children don't need that fight. They need you as parents to cooperate and bring peace to the family. Myth 7, focusing on my children will hurt me. Well, again, as we were saying so often during this little bit, is that actually focusing on your children will not only help the children, it will help your healing as well.
Pat Brown, a lawyer and counselor in Indiana, has a wonderful saying that if parents will agree on one thing, they'll agree on everything. If that one thing is, what do we want our kids to look like when they're 25? Look at how that helps parents. If they will focus on their children's needs, that's where the parents will find their own healing and their new partnership.
Myth 8, I'm not sad, I'm mad. Well, of course you're mad, but I think that oftentimes the anger is a way to cover up sometimes some very deep sadness and deep hurt. And oftentimes families or parents, rather than addressing that sadness, would just prefer to get angry instead.
Right, and some good counseling and some honesty with ourselves that, look, I'm losing a lot. I'm losing this person I had a dream of growing old with. I'm losing regular contact with my kids, losing a lot of my financial security. We have deep hurt and worry over that. If we deal with that honestly rather than to try to turn it into a fight, we're going to be much better off. And finally, myth 9, we'll have no relationship. This is a terrible mistake that some parents make to think, well, we're done with our personal relationship, we're done with our marriage, so been there, done that, and it's over. Well, obviously it's not. The quality of the relationship that you have as co-parents is going to be absolutely vital. It's the most important thing, probably, to help yourself and your children through this trauma of the family crisis, but it's important even beyond that.
Right. The relationship, the importance of your relationship to the children lasts beyond when they're 18 years old. There's weddings, there's being grandparents together, it goes on. And regardless of how old your children are, whether they're 5 or 6 or 25 or even 30, it's going to be important to them that the two of you get along.
And people who are watching now fall into two categories. Most are in a category that their personal relationship, their marriage relationship has come to an end, and they must accept that. Even if you want the marriage to go on, you can't make somebody stay with you, and you need to accept if your co-parent is saying, I'm done with the marriage, you need to accept that, work on your grieving, work on your success personally. For a smaller number of you, you may wish to work, if you're both in agreement on this, on saving your personal relationship in your marriage, but remember it takes both of you.
Remember it takes both. You can't stay in a marital relationship if one person does not want that to happen.
In either case, remember that the quality of restraint and courtesy and cooperation that you bring to your relationship is going to be important to you and to your children. There you have them, 9 myths that can really trip up a lot of people, and are a lot of the reason that people who should not be in such prolonged conflict or so much legal conflict really find themselves caught there. There's a longer article about this. It's a video article, again, on the Parents Corner link of Up to Parents. Please take a look at it if you'd like any further explanation of these points.
Right. Check it out. I think you'll find it very enlightening.
If you are a divorced or separated parent, there's something I want to share with you. It's so easy to feel there's nothing I can do to make things better. This is going to take forever, and everything depends on what my co-parent does. I'm going to share with you 8 things that we call the 8 hidden keys. You can think of this as 8 keys that are in your pocket right now. They're on a key ring, but they're hidden from us because we don't know. We don't know that these are things that we could put to use today. They're free, and we can do them regardless of what our co-parent is doing. They will help to rescue you and your children. Here they are then, the 8 hidden keys. Key 1, observe the child safety zone. The child safety zone is a theory that there is no reason, given that there are 10,000 minutes in a week, and we see our children together, when the parents are together, maybe only for those minutes, that we have to put any conflict into our children's lives. When we are together, anytime our children see their parents together during a drop-off, a pickup, any other time, anytime they hear us talking on the telephone, this is a small fraction of the time that we have in each week when we could talk parent to parent in private. There's absolutely no reason to pollute that time when our children are around, to bring up a difficult topic, to have a fight, to have any kind of conflict. Observe the child's safety zone. Key 2, keep your children out of adult roles. Children have enormous losses when their parents separate or divorce. They already have to deal with traumas like every time they're reunited with one of you, they're separated from their other parent. They may wonder, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my world? This is more than enough for children to deal with. There is no excuse for us to put them in roles of being messengers or carriers of checks or messages of any sort. They are not our allies, they're not our spies, they're not our whipping boys, they're not our confidants, they're not our counselors. This is way more than children can handle. And by the way, your children may try to take on these roles themselves. They may try to fix conflict between you. Your job is to end conflict and certainly to tell your children, look kids, your only job is to be the great kids you are. You just get back to being the great kids that you are. Key 3. Make and use a list of 10 compliments and good memories about your co-parent when you're talking to your children. Remember that when you do this, you're not doing it for the sake of your co-parent. You're doing this for your children. When parents separate or are divorced, the children wonder, what do my parents think about each other? And they're deeply injured if they believe that their parents can't remember anything good or compliment anything good in the other parent. Share these with your children. They are a vaccine against so many terrible thoughts that they could otherwise be carrying. Key 4. Celebrate things that your children get to do with their other parent. Sure, it can be difficult for us to see our child go off and go on a trip or spend time with their other parent, but that's for us to deal with. We need to let our children know that we value the time and the good things that they get to do with their other parent. Let your children know, I'm so excited you're going to be able to do this with Dad, or I think that was so neat what Mom did with you and what you had a chance to enjoy. Celebrate good things they get to do with both of you. Key 5. Cheerfully encourage your children to call their other parent. When your children are with you any extended period of time, 2-3 days or so, encourage them to call their other parent. Again, do it cheerfully. Children who hear, hey, wouldn't it be neat if you called Dad and told him how your game went today? Or give Mom a call, you know how she loves to hear from you. They not only get that reconnection, but they know that you respect their relationship with that other parent. That is vital to your kids. Key 6, promptly share all important child information in their lives. In other words, if there's a change in schedule, there's a health problem, there's some other problem going on in your child's life, a chance for him to choose between 2 extracurricular activities, let your co-parent know about that as soon as you know about it. This can be the beginning of more cooperation between the both of you and the beginning of what we call joint legal custody, your chance to build a co-parenting relationship where you make those decisions together. Number 7. Stay out of legal combat, and as much as possible, certainly stay out of court. Parents who are turning mom and dad issues into legal issues are almost always on the wrong track. As much as possible, use conversation, communication, goodwill. If necessary, use a counselor or mediation to solve your disputes, but don't turn mom and dad issues into legal issues. They're not. Key 8. Enjoy and admire your children. This is easy to forget, but you know, our children are the future. When we enjoy them, we admire them, we spend great time with them, you know what? We're beginning to create that better future instead of being stuck in an ugly past. There are a couple of very good articles on the Parents' Corner of Up to Parents. Please take a look at those. They will give you ideas about new activities you can enjoy with them and 8 specific ways that you can admire your children that maybe you haven't thought of. Enjoy and admire your children. They need it, so do you, so does your family. Well, there they are, 8 hidden keys that you can put to work immediately. They're absolutely free, and it's regardless of what your co-parent is doing. Remember what I said at the beginning. We can always feel, and we probably all do feel in separation and divorce, I'm powerless to make things better. I'm really at the mercy of other people. That doesn't happen to be true. Now that you know that you have these 8 keys, pull them out, put them to work today. You'll find that you're unlocking a door to a better future for you and certainly for your children.